There's a rule, actually, if you're in a serious relationship in the NFL, you cannot play. You have to retire because God forbid, you multitask. You can't be in a relationship. Are you kidding me? Play in the NFL and be in a relationship? Have you lost your bloody mind? Oh, my God. And personal commitments? Come on now. What are you talking about? You can't have any other personal commitments if you're playing in the NFL.
Number one on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WINCA Miami, WMIB FM HD2 Fort Lauderdale. Free never sounded so good.
1-0 pitch. Stowers cracks that one out to center and deep. Siri is back. He looks up and it's gone. The Marlins waste no time. Kyle Stowers with a 2-run shot, and they take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again. 1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
Well, nice job, Carlos and Ricardo. Welcome from Citizens Bank Park on a Saturday afternoon in the city of brotherly love. 77 degrees and overcast, but we're ready for some baseball. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio, Fox Sports 940 Miami, game 20 of 162. The Marlins, they dropped their 4th straight last night, but it's a streak snapping Saturday, and Cal Quantrill has a big say on if Miami can put it to bed here this afternoon. We bring you game 2 of this 3-game NL East set between the 12-8 Philadelphia Phillies and your 8-11 Miami Marlins. Clayton McCullough turns to his 30-year-old right-hander, Cal Quantrill, to take the ball and stop the skid here this afternoon against the Phillies. Quantrill will go opposite Taijuan Walker, 32-year-old right-hander, making his 4th start and looking to bounce back after surrendering 6 runs, 4 of them earned on Monday against San Fran. It all starts at 1:05 right here on the Marlins Radio Network. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for making Marlins on Deck a part of your Saturday afternoon with Jack McMillan and Kelly Sacco. I'm Steven Strom. We got an action-packed show, a lot of sound for you today. We'll hear from Patrick Monteverde. Congratulations to him. He will make his Major League debut at some point this season. Of course, he was called up. George Soriano was optioned. Jack McMillan caught up with them earlier in the day, but we'll get to that sound in a couple minutes. Scott Fransky, the radio voice of the Philadelphia Phillies, will join the program as well to preview this middle game of the 3-game set. We'll get you at the count with Quantrill and Walker. Jack and Kelly will jump in for some back and forth, our Expo question of the day at Marlins Radio, and of course, Steve's guarantee to victory. So again, congratulations, 27-year-old Southpaw Patrick Monteverde. He joined the team this morning. Me and Jack actually saw him walk in around 10:30, 10:45. He made 3 appearances with AAA Jacksonville, 1-0, a 4 ERA, but held the opposition to a 182 against batting average. He pitched out of the bullpen. He was selected in the 8th round out of Texas Tech in 2021. Our very own Jack McMullen got a chance to catch up with Patrick before first pitch.
All right, thanks, Steven. Listen, Monteverde, I've heard it a bunch of different ways. How are we going to say your last name?
Monteverde.
Okay, Patrick Monteverde here. This has to be so cool. Walk me through the last 12 hours of your life right now. When did you get the call? Maybe even 24 hours. And what was the flight process to get you to Philadelphia?
Yeah, so we had a 3 o'clock game yesterday in Memphis. We were debating on whether to go to the Grizzlies playoff game. A couple of us stayed back, ended up playing Mario Kart all night. And about an hour into it, Carp called me. And he's like, hey, you going to the game? I was like, no, are you? Like, what's going on? He's like, well, they're going to need – what's up, brother? They're going to need you in Philly. You know, you're going to the big leagues. And I was like kind of – I don't want to say thrown off because, you know, I do expect something like this to happen. But, yeah, definitely kind of blindsided a little bit.
Now, Mario Kart, what track? Were you Rainbow Road or were you somewhere else?
Oh, I can't tell you where I was at that time. But
you blacked out a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
Understood. Where were your first phone calls? Was it significant other? Was it parents? What was going on there?
It was parents, mom and dad, for sure.
What did it mean to them? Did they cry a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. My mom's crying. My dad didn't really believe me, honestly, at first. Just because it's kind of been a weird week, just in terms of schedule of me throwing. So, luckily they're at home in Pittsburgh, so they're on their way right now.
We're standing in a major league clubhouse right now in Philadelphia. You could very well see the Phillies over the next 2 days. Is it real yet? Like, I know that's a weird question, but if you do come into the ball game and see a Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, will you feel like you're in the moment?
Yeah, I'd say when I landed, it kind of hit me. At the end of the day, it's still the same game, right? I'm here for a reason. They're here for a reason. So, I just got to go out there and play the game.
You got some buddies in this clubhouse. I know a lot of guys were really excited to see you. You were living with Mervis, Kona, and Paulie, a couple of those guys during spring training. But, pop into a clubhouse with a bunch of buddies. What is this like for you?
Yeah, it just makes you feel right at home, right? It's not like you're walking into something new. Max over there's doing his thing. It feels right at home.
Last one for you. What are the Marlins getting from Patrick Monteverdi?
A competitor.
Good, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you,
Steven.
All right, a competitor. I like it. They also got a Southern League All-Star back in 2023. His story is pretty incredible, and shout out to Scott Kornberg for sending this text to Jack, and I am sure Jack will get into it if we do see Monteverdi here this afternoon. As a senior in high school, he topped out at 84 miles per hour. He had one money offer to a Division II school. It was $3,000 off $53,000 of tuition. Seton Hill in Pennsylvania, not Seton Hall, Seton Hill in Pennsylvania. He continued to work, and I will let Jack tell the rest of it during the game at some point. But what a story for Patrick Monteverdi. We saw him in spring. He's a good southpaw. He's going to come out of that bullpen. We'll see what the role looks like, but excited to see Monteverdi eventually make his major league debut with the Miami Marlins. Let's break here. We got a lot more to cover. Scott Fransky, one of my favorites, the radio voice of the Philadelphia Phillies. He will join us next to preview Game 2 of this 3-game set right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Hey, it's the Good Greek Spiro.
Can you give us a timeline on Yuri and Ryan Weathers?
Actually, Yuri threw three. He had 3 up, 45 pitch, live BP today. Looked great. Next up for him will be 4 up, live batting practice, like 60 pitches. And I think, once he gets through that 460, we'll look to, next steps being getting out in some type of a rehab assignment to get back into competition. But he's trending very well, looks strong, checking all the boxes he needs to. And then with Weathers, he got off the mound the other day, threw all of his pitches. The next one for him will be getting off a couple ups and a bullpen type, build up a little bit of endurance there. And then once he gets through that, we'll just kind of reevaluate how he's bouncing back and feeling and look for next steps. But the arrow's pointing up with both of them right now, and we'll just let their bodies let us know, how we continue to push that forward.
0-2 pitch to Mervis. That one is golfed out to right and deep. Carroll is back. Look at the birthday boy off the facing of the second deck. Matt Mervis, his 6th homer of the year, and we're tied at 1.
And Pavin Smith ends up hitting it out because it was in the strike zone.
1-0 pitch. Wagaman puts a charge into that down the right field line. Carroll on his horse. He won't get to it, and that one hops off the wall. Edwards into score, Norby into third base, and Eric Wagaman has an RBI double. It's 2-1 in the bottom of the first. Striking out a lot of guys right now. He's got 7 punch-outs so far. 1-2. Brantley lines that one into left center field. That's in for a base hit. Gurriel dove to his forehand to stop it from rolling all the way to the wall. And how about Rob Brantley? A multi-hit day for the 35-year-old catcher. 2 men out. And the 0-1 pitch.
Off and run on a Saturday afternoon. Live from Citizens Bank Park here in the city of brotherly love. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Kelly Sacco. Those two have your call at 105. Marlins looking to bounce back and stop this 4-game losing streak. They dropped Game 1 yesterday. And looking to find their footing here and right this ship in the right direction here in Philadelphia. Well, one of the best things I think for previewing a series is always getting the opposition's broadcaster on. Scott Fransky is one of my favorite, the radio voice of the Philadelphia Phillies. Got a chance to talk with him this afternoon, not only talking about today, but yesterday and just how surprised he was what we saw with Sandy Alcantara. All right, Scott, as we settle into the middle game of this 3-game set, I want to talk a little bit about last night. Not used to seeing Sandy that way, at least up here in the Marlins booth. What was it like, I guess, watching Sandy struggle? Something we don't really see often.
Yeah, we don't see it that often. It was clear his command is not where he wants it to be or where it's going to be once he gets more reps under his belt again. The Phillies obviously they've seen him a lot, and there's a lot of guys who have pretty decent numbers against him. So I think in general, have a pretty good approach against Sandy. They try to force him to throw strikes and attack those strikes. But when his command is off and he's behind in the count, I don't care who you are. If you're always behind in the count, it's tough to be successful in this league. Phillies are a good offense. That's the third straight day they've forced a pitcher to throw 30-plus pitches in the very first inning. And 2 of them were former Cy Young Award winners. So they're starting to see the ball a little bit better and grind out some at-bats.
Let's talk about the matchup on the mound this afternoon. Cal Quantrill, veteran for the Miami Marlins, will go opposite Taijuan Walker. Really good first 2 starts for Walker. What happened in his third one against San Francisco?
Really, it was 1 inning. And honestly, if he himself makes a play defensively, which normally he does, he got a comebacker to the mound and tried to start a 1-6-3 double play, and he threw the ball into center field. He's normally a very reliable fielder. If he makes that play, the inning could turn out to be very different. The whole game could turn out to be very different. I think his stuff has been much better this year. He's about a tick up every pitch you look at, miles per hour. He worked really hard to reclaim his velocity. He may not be long for the starting rotation anyway, with Ranger Suarez kind of, maybe a couple of weeks out. But he's done a really good job of focusing in on today's game. He's not worried about where he's going to be a month from now or what role he'll have a month from now. He's been really focused on, trying to use all his pitches. I think you saw a couple years ago, it was a lot of fastball split. Now he's really mixing it up a lot more. And the message to him was go be a pitcher. And he's doing that. He's using all his arsenal. And I think it's worked to his advantage.
You mentioned Ranger Suarez. How do the Phillies view Taijuan Walker?
Well, I do think if Ranger's back and healthy, and if all the other guys are still healthy at that point, Walker would go to the bullpen and be your long man. And so I still think they view Ranger as one of their 5 starters. That's certainly the way they're preparing him. You know how baseball works. It's a long season, and you're rarely not going to use more than 5 starters. In fact, you'll almost never do that. So having some depth, a guy like Walker waiting in the wings, that could be your 6th guy or whatnot. I think that is something that they feel comfortable about. And like I said, who knows? By the time Ranger comes back, somebody else could be out. You never know.
The radio voice of the Phillies is with me now, Scott Fransky. And the offseason was, I would say, quiet for the most part for the Phillies. You added Max Kepler, Romano. But the big trade was with Miami, Jesus Luzardo for Starling Caba and a couple other prospects. What can you tell us about Starling Caba?
Well, they liked him a lot. People up and down the organization think very, very highly of Caba. And they actually had quite a few shortstops that they like in the pipeline. And that was one of the reasons they were willing to deal a prospect as good as him. I mean, they have Aiden Miller, who was a little bit ahead of him in the pecking order, a little bit older, former number 1 pick. And I don't know that they necessarily make that trade and deal away a guy of Caba's caliber without Aiden Miller already in the pipeline. And so I think Miami got a really good player. I get it. It's probably a few years out. The Phillies are in more of a win now mode, obviously. But, Larry Boa, who has been in this organization for 1,000 years, and he's done everything you can do. He loved the kid and spent some time with him a couple of springs ago in Clearwater with him. And he just thinks the world of him and thinks he's going to be really, really good. So I do think Miami got a good player. It's down the road a bit, but they all here think he's going to be really good.
Great seeing you, Scott. Thank you for the time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Anytime.
All right, excellent job right there with Scott Fransky. Want to hit on a couple of things. First of all, you heard that the Phillies were struggling to maybe make the move to give up on Caba. 19 years old. He already has a major league glove. We heard that earlier in spring training from guys from MLB Pipeline. The bat obviously needs some work, but he's 19 years old. The second thing I want to hit on, and we probably should have yesterday, was the first inning situation with the Philadelphia Phillies. Coming into yesterday, they plated 7 runs over the last 2 games in the first inning. Plated 2 yesterday. Scott just said it on the pregame. That is back-to-back-to-back times where the Phillies have forced 30-plus pitches with the starter. That's something to look out for. Cal Quantrill, again, through 3 starts in the first inning. He hasn't given up any runs. So you got to get off to a good start, particularly because you've lost 4 in a row, and the Phillies right now are chomping at the bit to get in the batter's box, particularly early on. So we'll see if we can make an adjustment here. We'll see if the Marlins can combat that here this afternoon. We'll get you at the count next. Cal Quantrill, Taijuan Walker, 105 first pitch, back in 2 minutes on the Marlins Radio Network.
Defensive back or receiver. 3-2 pitch. Bride with a little bouncer. Gore picks it up down the third base line. He dives to try and swipe a tag, but Stowers head by him. 1-2 pitch. Shinohawk rounds that one up the middle. That's through for a base hit. Wagaman comes in to score, and Javier Shinoha knots the game at 3. An RBI single, and the Marlins are cooking again with 2 outs.
Well, another short, compact swing on a curveball from the Nationals. Pitched around Mervis on a couple occasions.
0-1 pitch is hammered out to center. Young is back. Track wall. It is gone. Matt Mervis, a 3-run pinch hit homer. And the Marlins are up 7-3.
Get how they're missing calls when they're set up over the shoulder.
2-2 pitch is lofted into shallow center field. Young sprinting in. Young dives, and he can't get it. You got Hicks around third. He's getting the run around home. Everybody up a base. The throw in into second, and Liam Hicks comes in to score. That'll be an RBI double for Otto Lopez. Edwards goes first to third, and Hicks scores from second on a ball that just got past the diving center fielder Jacob Young. His way into trouble, and Lopez doubles in a run here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 8-3, and Kyle Stowers powers one out to right center field. That splits the gap, and one hops the wall. 2 runs coming to score, and Kyle rips one out to right center field. 110 off the bat, and it's a 2-run double to make it 10-3.
Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Hey, this is Xavier Edwards here, and you're listening to Marlins on Deck with Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio Network.
Well, thank you, Xavier Edwards, as he extended his hit streak to 11 games. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Kelly Sacco getting you ready for Game 2, the middle game of this 3-game set. Marlins looking to punch back. They've lost 4 in a row, and Cal Quantrill will go opposite Taijuan Walker. Let's get you ahead the count. We'll start here with Cal Quantrill, 30-year-old right-hander who will make his 4th start of the season. He comes into Saturday afternoon with a 1-1 record, a 5.79 ERA over 14 innings pitched. He didn't factor on Sunday's win over the Washington Nationals. He allowed 3 runs on 7 hits. 5 walks, that's the big thing with Cal coming into today. He cannot do that over 5 innings. Here was Clayton McCullough earlier today talking about what he saw from Cal this week.
Watching Cal's side the other day, I mean, we know what Cal, the professionalism that he brings, and, you know, has his ability to evaluate how a particular outing went, where in the next one is going to look to try to, you know, course correct a little bit. And he had a terrific side. And I think, you know, Cal knows the value and importance that he plays here. I thought he was, you know, very sharp with, again, like his, you know, trying to get his fastball command dialed in, and then, you know, the ability to, you know, spin his breaking balls and continue to like refine the split where he has, you know, some feel with it to get it in the zone and also get it into an area where, you know, hitters have to make a decision to swing or not.
All right, that was Clayton McCullough on Cal Quantrill. 3 career starts for Cal against Philly, 1-0, a 2.65 ERA over 17 innings pitched. He'll go opposite Taijuan Walker, 32-year-old right-hander from Louisiana. He's making his 4th start, 1-1, a 2.30 ERA over 15 2/3. He was perfect in his first 2 starts, combining for 10 2/3 of scoreless ball. He did struggle on Monday against the Giants. They plated 6 runs. 4 of them were earned, all in the 2nd inning. 2 home runs given up to Tyler Fitzgerald and Willie Adams. 15 career games against Miami, 6-3, a 3.56 ERA over 83 and a third innings pitched. So Cal Quantrill will take on Taijuan Walker. A couple of veterans will battle it out on this Saturday afternoon. We'll break here. Coming up next, Kelly Sacco and Jack McMullen join me next on the Marlins Radio Network.
Can you give us a timeline on Yuri and Ryan Weathers?
Actually, Yuri threw three. He had 3 up, 45 pitch, live BP today. Looked great. Next up for him will be 4 up, live batting practice, like 60 pitches. And once he gets through that 460, we'll look to next steps being getting out in some type of a rehab assignment to get back into competition. But he's trending very well. Looks strong, checking all the boxes he needs to. And then with Weathers, he got off the mound the other day, threw all of his pitches. Next one for him will be getting off a couple ups and a bullpen type, build up a little bit of endurance there. And then once he gets through that, we'll just kind of reevaluate how he's bouncing back and feeling and look for next steps. But the arrow's pointing up with both of them right now, and we'll just let their bodies let us know, how we continue to push that forward.
0-2 pitch to Mervis. That one is golfed out to right and deep. Carroll is back. Look at the birthday boy off the facing of the second deck. Matt Mervis, his 6th homer of the year, and we're tied at 1.
And Pavin Smith ends up hitting it out because it was in the strike zone.
1-0 pitch. Wagaman puts a charge into that down the right field line. Carroll on his horse. He won't get to it, and that one hops off the wall. Edwards into score. Norby into third base, and Eric Wagaman has an RBI double. It's 2-1 in the bottom of the first. Striking out a lot of guys right now. He's got 7 punch-outs so far. 1-2. Brantley lines that one into left center field. That's in for a base hit. Gurriel dove to his forehand to stop it from rolling all the way to the wall. And how about Rob Brantley?
Call Loctite Impact now at 954-500-LOCK. That's 954-500-LOCK, or visit LoctiteImpact.com.
We're doing a lot of really good things within games offensively. I think our group, for the most part, has been good about building innings and getting people on. And we talk you do that enough, and that's kind of what we are. Guys, we're going to push through. We'll punch through and get some big hits with people on base. But just to kind of look at each inning as its own, what do we need to do to try to, spark an inning, pass the baton, give ourselves as many chances in the course of the game as we can, and try to wear people down and get into bullpens.
All right, that was Clayton McCullough earlier this morning talking about his team and the offense that just keeps on punching, but they have not been able to come through in the last couple of days. Kelly Sacco, Jack McMullen, Steven Strom here. We'll start with you, Kelly. I want overall takeaways from that bite and how he sort of handled this 4-game skid.
I think what we've really seen just throughout the season from first-year manager Clayton McCullough has been just a positivity. It's something that he always is looking for the positives out of every single start. And when you're playing 162, it's a good mindset to have because things can spiral really, really fast. And you have to remember as well, every team, no matter how good or how bad they are, they're going to go through these types of skids. So you like what he has to say. You like taking away the positives. And, eventually things are going to click.
Jack?
Yeah, no, I think that there is a really, there's a good recipe for a win here. And we've talked about that a lot, right? There is a recipe for success. If the Marlins win, it's going to look like X happens and Y happens and Z happens. And it's the starter gives you a good 5, maybe 6 if it's Meyer or somebody else. And then you pass the baton to the bullpen. But I think in terms of handling adversity within this, it's tough over the course of a game. It really is. And it's tough when you're facing good teams in raucous environments, but good opportunity to bounce back today.
How do we flush this afternoon? What do you want to see the Marlins get back to?
You know what I keep hearing, which I think is great? They said the day game after last night's tough loss is the best thing that could happen to them because they don't have a lot of time to stew on it.
Yeah.
So you have to flip the page very quickly because it's such a quick turnaround.
What do you got in your guys' hands? You guys eating something?
I was waiting
our
for you to
StreamYard
ask.
audience.
You would never ask.
You can see the ice and ice cream for our audio audience. Go and explain, guys.
Shout out to our friend Frank Scoop.
He is a staple here at Citizens Bank Park. He has been working here forever.
Frankie
really,
2 scoops.
Forever. And water ice is a big thing
what
in Philadelphia.
Flavors? What do we got? Tell me.
Cherry water ice. And you went the ice cream route.
I went Rocky Road. I've got Rocky Road with some rainbow sprinkles because I always do rainbow sprinkles.
I love that. I love that about you. Tomorrow I'll be doing the ice cream. The buttercream. It's like a buttercream. big fan. I'm telling you, Citizen Bank Park, probably the best ballpark to eat
I
at
agree.
on the road, I would have to say.
I missed out on the memo. I thought it was too early for ice cream. It's never
We
too early.
bailed on 'em.
It's never too early for ice cream. All right, good stuff, guys. You'll hear Kelly and Jack at 1:10. Let's break here. We'll get our Expo question of the day at Marlins Radio, Steve's guaranteed a victory. And then we'll play game 2 of this 3-game set between the Marlins and the Phillies right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Can you give us a timeline on Yuri and Ryan Weathers?
Actually, Yuri threw 3. He had 3 up, 45 pitch, live BP today. Looked great. Next up for him will be 4 up. Live batting practice, like 60 pitches, and once he gets through that 460, we'll look to next steps being getting out in some type of a rehab assignment to get back into competition. But he's trending very well, looks strong, checking all the boxes he needs to. And then with Weathers, he got off the mound the other day, threw all of his pitches. Next one for him will be getting off a couple ups in a bullpen type, build up a little bit of endurance there. And then once he gets through that, we'll just kind of reevaluate how he's bouncing back and feeling and look for next steps. But the arrow's pointing up with both of them right now, and we'll just let their bodies let us know, how we continue to push that forward.
0-2 pitch to Mervis. That one is golfed out to right and deep. Carroll is back. Look at the birthday boy off the facing of the second deck. Matt Mervis is 6th homer of the year, and we're tied at 1.
And Pavin Smith ends up hitting it out because it was in the strike zone.
1-0 pitch. Wagaman puts a charge into that down the right field line. Carroll on his horse. He won't get to it, and that one hops off the wall. Edwards into score, Norby into third base, and Eric Wagaman has an RBI double. It's 2-1 in the bottom of the first. Striking out a lot of guys right now. He's got 7 punch-outs so far. 1-2. Brantley lines that one into left center field. That's in for a base hit. Gurriel dove to his forehand to stop it from rolling all the way to the wall. And how about Rob Brantley? A multi-hit day for the 30.
Stream now.
Back here at Citizens Bank Park, about, what are we at here? 12:56. A little less than 15 minutes before game time here. Game 2 of this 3-game set. Marlins looking to snap a 4-game skid. It is a streak snapping Saturday. There you go, Steven. Steven Strom, Jack McBone, Kelly Sacco, those two have your call at 1:10. Cal Quantrill will make his 4th start of 2025. He'll go opposite Taijuan Walker. Let's get to our at Marlins Radio X-Bowl question. Well, Luis Arraez captured the first ever cycle here in Marlins franchise history on April 11th, 2023, a little over 2 years ago in Philadelphia. Tough one. Really tough question. Who was he facing when he hit the single to complete the cycle? My hint to you is he is no longer with the Philadelphia Phillies. It's time for Steve's Guarantees.
Batter up. Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's Guarantees.
I don't have 1. I don't have 2. I actually have 3 for you. We'll start here with Jesus Sanchez. I like him to hit his first home run of the season. I think it's a good matchup with first Taijuan Walker. He has seen Taijuan Walker a ton over his career with Miami. He has struggled against him. I do like Sanchez to hit a home run today. My second thing, I like Griffin Conine to pick up an extra base hit. And then finally, this one's like a layup. You got to have a layup in Steve's Guarantee. Xavier Edwards extends his hit streak to 12 games, which, by the way, is a career high for X. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch of the week. Come back. Jack McMullen paints a picture. Kelly Sacco, she's ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together. Miami Marlins baseball is next. This is the Marlins Radio Network.